Good afternoon, Calvert football and Calvert strength performance candidates. We're again addressing session 2 in the program methods and philosophy. And this is just going a little bit more in deep about what we do in the weight room, how we utilize the strength performance program for a year-long periodization model, and what are the things that we believe translate to our athletes' performance on the field, not just in their physicality, not just in their athletic ability, but also in their intrinsic ability to be the best student athletes they can be. And so we're going to jump right into this and show you what the outline is going to be as we cover on this session. All right, so in this session, you can look at the outline. We're going to go over the 4 training macro cycles, and that basically is detailing how we change up and move throughout the year to make sure that we're getting kids ready for each one of their particular sport seasons, not just football. That's why it's Calvert Strength Performance, not Calvert Football Strength and Conditioning. This is a program designed to help any and all athletes get ready for the particular sports season and improve themselves overall as a human being. And of course, we're going to go into what those mesocycles look like and how they're used to help develop the athlete fully, both in their strength, both in their size, both in their speed, both in their agility, and all the things that they encompass and need to be better at to be able to be a great performer on the field. Then the coordination of the workout program, we're going to talk a little bit more about how that looks and what particular days we train. We'll look at a schedule throughout the year, talking about how that looks and how intentional we are to specifically ensure that we're getting to the best results we can have at the proper times of the year. We'll talk about what the program contents include, warm-ups, mobility, actual training part of it, what the training sheets look like, how they are so valuable to our improvement as athletes and also as potential players on the football field or in any given sport, the functional cool down. And then you look at topic 3. We'll start talking about speed, performance, conditioning training. We'll look at what we do during the summer specifically to get that done. And then we talk about the periodization and how we use these things strategically in the intensity and the frequency in which we do them to be ready for the upcoming season, and how we deload and offload some of these mechanisms to ensure that we're getting the best results possible and not overtraining our athletes. So let's jump into the first slide. So this is a year-long plan, and this is actually an example of what our plan is going to look like this year. If you look at the blue, the light blue, that is the winter training program. We started that back in December in 2023, obviously right after the season ended. We took a week off and we jumped in. And so you can kind of see that the 3rd and 4th were the first training days of the 2024 year. And then you can see traditionally that the workout program follows a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday format. Now we've done other formats where I've been before, but this seems to be the best way of doing things here at Calvert High School to ensure our kids have an extra day during the week where they can go home or after school and focus on getting their academics covered and take care of any other things they need to take care of. Plus, it only means that they need to be at the school 3 times a week to get the best benefit from what we do in the strength and performance program. So again, Mondays traditionally are shoulders, chest, and tricep days. Also, that includes an Olympic movement. We'll talk about what that looks like in a minute. Tuesdays would be our leg, back, and bi day, which also includes an Olympic movement. And Thursday would be a full body day where we cover the entire body, and it also includes an Olympic movement. So you can see that's pretty much the way it's covered out here when you look at the beginning of this year working through February. Now, my mindset is, as a strength performance coach, is to make sure that any athlete that may be working out with us right now could end up playing a spring sport. In fact, we encourage all kids to try out for a spring sport, whether they play one in the past or not. So what we do is we're going to test these kids out on the 26th, 27th, and 29th of February. That's when we have our final week of training for the winter cycle. Okay, so the reps and sets in the weight room will change. We'll talk about that when we get to the card in a minute. And then we have this dark period, this period that we kind of dead period, which is where the spring sports season start on March 1st and we're going to ensure that those kids have a chance to go out and try out for those sports. And then this also allows us to start transitioning the kids who are playing winter sports into our training program, and then we'll start back up on the 11th. Now, the training cycle on the 11th will start to look like March 11th will start to look more like what we started off with when we ended our football season. And so then we'll go through 3 different little small cycles, microcycles inside of this, in which we cover hypertrophy, we cover base building strength, and peak building strength. These 3 phases are very important to the way we structure our program philosophy, because what this ensures is that we're gaining the necessary muscle density to recruit the best muscle fibers, the strongest muscle fibers to push the biggest weight, and ultimately then using the intensity of the biggest weights possible to be as strong as we need to be going into our next season. And so that's kind of what we've been doing here in this light blue area, and that's what you can see us covering in this green area. Now, these weeks in which we are in hypertrophy or in base building strength phase or in peak phase, these moments can be built in and a little longer depending on how much time we have in a given training period. And so you can see that March, April, and May, going down to June, will be all of our green, which is our spring training cycle, which will include the opportunity for those kids who are not playing a spring sport, and those kids who are definitely going to be coming out for football to kind of get themselves ready. All right. We also include some bridge program training in that time where the kids that are going to be 9th graders coming in from the middle schools can start coming in and working with us in the afternoons as well. Again, to get them acclimatized and understanding the workout programs. You can see down here in June, when we get to the time in which we have graduations, we have another dead period in which we allow the kids to decompress, get their minds, hit the reset, and then we go into our summer training, which are these orange/yellow periods that you see here throughout the summer. Again, following that Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday format. The difference in times between that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday format during the summer and that in the rest of the year is 2:45 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, the kids get out 2:15. We give them a half an hour time, not to find their way down to the weight room, but an opportunity for them to get down to the weight room, get out, change, start eating their meal, because they should have something good to eat right before they go into training, and work on any mobility and flexibility type stuff they may need to do before they lead into the workout personal to them. During the summer, we go from 5:30 to 8:30 in the evenings. This works best for people's schedules and transportation needs that our kids have to get where they need to get. Then you see here these red or pink or salmon colors are colors in which we have optional days or days which we change up a little bit depending on the schedule to ensure that we can accommodate people and help them out during some times off. And so you can see that what we have here at the end of July, for us, we shut down. We allow the room to breathe a little bit, because then what happens is the custodial crew come in and they clean up the weight room, reset the room. But also, it's time in which we do our youth contact camp here. Our One Heart Athletics is holding and hosting camps for many of our different sports programs, and we also go to Shepherd Team Camp. And then the dark blue area here you can see, which of course varies depending on how far we go into the playoffs, is when we're playing in a season. And during that time, we will train, as I said in the previous video, anywhere between 1 to 3 times a week, depending on what level you're on, blue or gold, and also depending on the way the schedule works. And again, we're following the same model in which we're going to be using some hypertrophy training to build density, condition our muscles, and then, of course, at the end of the cycle, we're working on more high intensity, shorter amount of reps, and more explosive movements. And of course, you can see how we roll into December. So that covers the year-long model. And then in that, you talk about what we do on a specific day. This is an example of a workout program, specifically what we did this past week, and how important this is to the way we structure things. Now, I like the workout card, and again, this is what I've tried to tell our guys is possibly a big difference between a personal trainer and a strength performance coach. And a strength performance coach is, yes, I'm there to motivate, just as I am as a football coach on the field, but there's a lot of similarities between what I would do or any coach would do with their team in a season and what they do in the weight room. And what we're trying to instill in part to just developing the best athletes possible is we're obviously trying to develop a strong team, and a strong team requires personal accountability amongst each other. You've heard this cliche before, and it's become more and more prevalent, I know, in our program, in that in bad teams, no one leads, good teams, coaches leads, and in great teams, the players lead. And so you can imagine right now we're averaging about 20, 25 kids in a weight room. There's a lot of young men we'd like to get in there who I'm not sure what they're doing right now because they're not playing winter sport. But we do have a lot playing winter sports as well. And we love for them guys to be in that weight room. And what's important about them being in a weight room and what this card does for them is allows them to develop ownership. One, obviously, the weight room is not for everybody. It's certainly not for those who require an attaboy and a strong stroke on their back all the time. It's for the ones who intrinsically are motivated to become the best version of themselves. It's for those who care a lot about their team. It's for those who don't require a coach to constantly be on top of them, pushing them to do something. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to build out this program. I'm going to go in there and direct. I'm going to help kids understand how to do the exercises properly. And then I'm going to let this thing roll. We put this thing on a schedule and we run a clock. There's a horn in the weight room. The horn goes off when we should be switching sets. That's all timed out strategically. The weights for the kids and their major exercises, like for example, you're looking here, the barbell bench press, are all put out there. These numbers go up or down depending on how they performed on their last lift. And this is so we can strategically adjust their weights. But it's up to them to look on the sheet, to highlight their sheet, to write in there when they're able to do that particular amount of weight on that last set. And so, for example, if you look at Keith Baker, for example, here, right now he's working with a 195-pound bench press. I know this because the last time we were in the weight room, he had 150 pounds for his last set of 6. And he did that more than 6 times. And then we asked the kids to write in there, plus or minus. He did it 2 more times, so it moved his max up to 195. So when he comes in here next time we do bench press, he's going to be doing these sets with this weight. Now, he's got to pay attention to the top columns here because these columns tell him how many reps he's going to do. And for their informational purposes, it tells them what the percentage of their max is there as well. Now, in areas like dumbbell shrugs, which is a superset, and band complex, which is a superset, it's just telling them the reps. It's telling them the intensity which they work at, medium, medium, heavy, heavy, heavy. And then they can kind of gauge that and put in the weight they want. It's an auxiliary exercise, an accessory exercise, but the main exercise is the barbell bench press. This is their exercise group 1, page 1, in a workout. And we would cover this strategically, depending on what the lifts are, depending on the number of sets they are, in 14 minutes, meaning they have 3.5 minutes for him and his partners to get done set 1 of the bench press, set 1 of the shrugs, and set 1 of the band complex, and then be ready for set 2. This is where team accountability, personal accountability come into play, because I'm not going to be chasing the guy around to make sure that they're set. And what does that translate to me? As a coach, it's giving them the play. And then expecting them to go out to the field, into the huddle, and go out and execute that play to their fullest. I don't think that when a kid goes out there and plays football or plays any other sport, that they take plays off intentionally. I don't think that they're going to go out there and if a coach says you need to run this out pattern at 10 yards and then break out, that they run it at 8 and break out intentionally. If they're told what to do, which this clearly tells them what to do, then they should execute that to their fullest. Again, these are all things that I think are important for these young people to learn and figure out as they prepare for their upcoming seasons, not just growing in the weight room, becoming the strongest version of themselves. And you see the reps here. We've just gotten back from winter break. Prior to winter break, we were doing 4 sets of 10. And we were getting roughly about 100 reps on their chest. Now we're breaking those reps down. We're decreasing the number of reps they're getting so we can increase the amount of weight. And we ask they follow these weights, particularly important that they do that because at the end of the day, again, if Keith Baker takes 155 and does it 7 times, he's going to put +1 here, and it's going to tell us to move up his max. And it gives us a good gauge of where we're getting to. And as we get closer to the end of February, when we're actually doing 8, 6, 4, 2 on the bench, we'll have a better understanding of what his max is going to be when we test him out. Again, guaranteeing that Keith's bench is as strong as it needs to be for the spring sports season. Now, we mentioned Olympic lifts. On this particular day, we're doing chest, shoulder, tries. This was Monday's workout this week. And then we have the actual Olympic movement exercises here on the next page. All right. And what we did here in this back in December is we really spent a lot of time teaching the kids how to do these Olympic movements. What do they all look like? Breaking them down in segments. To me, these Olympic movements mean something. They're actually probably the most important athletic and dynamic movement we can do in the weight room, being with bench and squat being the secondary and the most significant exercises following the power cleans and the Olympic snatches and the power snatches, because this is basically like a loaded plyometric. So when we talk about exploding off the line on a run, or delivering a blow when you're trying to block somebody, or swinging a bat when you're trying to swing a bat, or throwing a lacrosse ball, this is where we start to improve and increase our speed, because we're moving triple extension exercises, moving the whole body to catch a weight with a weight. It's kind of like doing a jump on a box with a large weighted vest. The only problem is that there aren't many changes that you can make in a weighted vest. You can't always make those movements as dynamic as you can when you put a power clean bar up with 265 pounds on it, and you're moving that bar vertically up close to your body as you're bending at the ankle, knee, hip, and back, and shoulders and elbows. Very dynamic exercise. It's a great tool in which we can measure our power and explosivity. So this would be the second group exercises these guys did on Monday. And again, we've asked the guys, as we're teaching them how to use the percentage conversion charts, to go out there and learn using these tables that we've created with the max conversion chart, what weight they were doing at the last set and writing it in. And so as we're getting this done and the kids are able to put the information in, we're going to build this thing out, and you'll start to see these numbers grow. But then again, this is the military press, again, strategically placed, building this off the max that we would have for the standing barbell military press. And again, the kids are following this, and then they're doing incline chest flies. We have 2 more pages that the guys would follow in the weight room as they go through this. Now, what we've talked about now is the actual workout program built upon a workout card. That is not the entire workout, as just part of it. I talked about things that we do before the workout and after the workout. Well, before the workout, the guys come in, like I said, and by 2:45, we're hoping that everybody's taking time to eat a good, balanced meal. That'll be covered in some other videos later on, what that looks like and when we should be putting in our bodies the necessary nutrients to get the most out of our workouts and recovery. What we get into next is a warm-up. And traditionally what we do is we just take the ladder out and let the guys and gals push themselves through a ladder workout, working on mobility and quick footwork. We talk about bending as they're doing this, is loosening up muscles. And then once they've done about a 5-minute period of that, they go into a 10-minute period of revolving around the room, working on stretching, dynamic stretches, right? And then depending on what the skills are for the day, like I said in December, we built in some mobility work, working on concentrating on no weight, but doing things properly to build into the Olympic movements. We add in there some plyometric movements, some jump trainings, speed development training through plyometrics. All that's done as a lead into our workout. Then we jump into this workout card, which could cover, again, based upon 14 minutes for each group or 12 minutes for each group, could be about an hour and 5 minutes on the weightliftings. Now, when we finish, what we do after that is we have some type of finisher. We'll do some abs, we'll do some core mobility, we'll do some hip mobility where we get in some hurdles and we rotate and work our hips, all depending on the day and what the function is. But this week we started our speed and conditioning program, which again is very structured and very mindful of trying to get our kids to the goal of being the best athletes they can be when we get to the end of this cycle and prepare them for March 1st. And so that's what we started on Monday. Traditionally on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays, we would only do speed and agility training here during the school year on Mondays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is a leg back and bi day, and so we won't run them after doing a heavy, intense workout in the weight room. What we'll do is we'll add some serious partner stretching and some other things they can use with the rollers to guarantee that they're working on their flexibility and mobility. So let's go into what summer periodization schedule looks like and how we do periodization timetables to ensure that we're peaking out in our run performance training as well. So here you're looking at an example of what we do in our summer strength performance program. This is kind of like the way we take the idea and approach to all of our running program. This is to separate what we do for conditioning and what we do to actually enhance speed performance. Okay, I'm under that mindset, and what I've learned in my studies and my experience in trying to develop speed performance, both linear in a straight line or in a change direction, is that you want to make sure that you can make our athletes get the best reps they can on every single set. Now, there's a trade-off, right? If I'm in a conditioning modality, then that means that if I go out there and run a 40-yard sprint, and our kid is fast enough to run it in 4.5 seconds, okay? And then I go out there with only 45-second break, which is, a well-conditioned athlete, maybe they can do that, or maybe they can run a 4.5, 40 with 45-second breaks. We'd like to think that they could if we train them properly and they make all the training segments during the summer. But what that's going to guarantee that they're doing is that their creatine ATP energy phosphate system, which is the quick, fast twitch energy system that's in all of our muscles, is now been trained to recover fast enough to guarantee that they can elicit the greatest intensity their body can produce on any movement less than 10 seconds in a quick fashion. 45 seconds is what we like to do for a football team. That's important because that's kind of what emulates the game clock. So we don't expect our kids to be able to do that on day one. No, we have to build into that. So I know that right now, when we did our speed performance training this past week, we're looking to make sure these kids are doing so with quality reps. So we give them quality breaks. During that break, I try to teach our kids what they're doing and what they need to do to be the best runners they can be. Maybe add some nutritional nuggets, whatever it might be. Talk to them a little bit about just life in general and how they can become better student athletes. Nevertheless, we do give time breaks to make sure that every rep that they perform is the best rep they can perform. So 4-5 on rep 1 and a 4-5 on rep 8. And so that's what we're doing right now with them when we start speed train with them. So we're not looking for them to feel like at the end of the workout that they want to throw up because coach is going bam, 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 bam with no break. We want them to feel like, holy smokes, my legs are sore. I'm gassed because coach made us go hard on every snap. And so we did that, and that's what we're looking to do. During the summer, we kind of stage this out. So you can look at here. This is actually the column for the blue group. And so you can see the periods we work things out from 5:30 to whatever. It covers a workout weight room workout. You can see the transition to hip mobility, resetting the weight room. And then you can see how we continue to go down here. And then group gold, while we're out there doing this, they're out there doing their dynamic warm-up. And you can see how the different strategic training mechanisms we're using is done with specific ideas of how we're moving from one space to the next. Coaches are coaching them in proper technique and movement, and then the amount of time these guys get between each set. You can look down here at the bottom. We do condition, which means that we do task the body where they may not be their freshest on the next rep, because that's teaching them a lot of skills and a lot of discipline as well. And that's in this case, the 100-yard sprints, and we're running 14 of them at this point of the season. Big guys, tanks are running 18 seconds. Bombers 16 seconds, and our skilled jets are running 14 seconds. And in that time period, they only get 45-second breaks, and they're supposed to be able to make 14 of those. And when you talk to any college athlete, they come back and work out with us. Many of them do. They specifically can speak volumes to this conditioning test because they're pretty much using the same conditioning test at the college level. And so that's what that looks like. And so at the end of the day, we're talking about how we use our strength performance program and how our strength performance program and myself as a strength coach are able to use these things to not just develop the full athlete and being the best athlete that can be on the field, but also developing the character and the well-being of that athlete too. And it puts accountability in these folks. You can see now with this strategy and this mindset that if we're going to use personal trainers, which I think are a great investment and a great tool to enhance the workout, that it should come in addition to what we're doing here, because we can't build a team if our team isn't together. We can't build accountability and grow as individual athletes and leaders in our program unless we're here following the program cards, listening to coaching, developing coaching, and growing personal accountability and responsibility in which you can go out there and lead yourselves without the coach telling you what to do or reminding you to do a set. And then adding in on a Wednesday or a Friday or a Saturday and a Sunday strategically things that they can do with a personal trainer can definitely enhance their performance. And obviously, if we add in the food and nutrition parts, will be covered in another video later on, they can get the best benefits from this program. So with that, I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can't wait to see you guys soon in the weight room. I'm Coach Steve, and I'm out. Boom.